just can't, can you? You can't do it, can you? Yeah. Okay, let me know when you're done. And we can start.
I'm done.
Okay, are you sure?
I'm sure.
You're sure? She's not sure. Get your giggles out. What is it? What is it with some people, they get nervous and they get the giggles.
I'm not nervous.
They get the giggles and then they can't stop giggling.
Okay, I'm fine now. Let's do this.
Are you fine?
I'm
sure?
fine. Mm-hmm. I'm here for it. Let's do this.
Okay. And we're live with Paranormal Spirits. This is a place we come to get our booze on. We talk about the booze, the things that go bump in the night, and I get to do it with all my booze. I'm Mike Black. This is my wife, Alyssa Black.
Hello.
My best friend, John Burkett.
Howdy.
And we've all had paranormal experiences. We all like to talk about those paranormal experiences. And we all like to drink.
Responsibly.
Thank you. Of course it's responsibly. Okay, and tonight I am going to so mess this name up, but I'm going to try. John's going to tell us about the haunted forest in Romania called Hoia Baciu.
Close enough.
Pretty close? Hey, not
Pretty
bad.
much it.
Okay. And this is a place that goes way, way back in history, and all kinds of haunted stuff happens there, all kinds of strange stuff, and John's going to tell us all about that. But before he tells you that, we're going to tell you about all the other places that you can come, or you can go online to see us, see our stuff, see about us. We've got a website out there. It's paranormal-spirits.com. We have a Facebook group, and it's called Booze with Benefits.
Booze.
Booze with Benefits. That's
B-O-O-S.
B-O-O-S. Booze with Benefits. And then we've got an Instagram page that's paranormal_-spirits.
That's
Why is
a
that
mess.
so funny? I don't know. It's funny.
is it?
It's
Because
like
that's a
every time.
mess.
Well, because it's paranormal-spirits. I mean, which is the same thing as our website, except it's an actual dash, and the dash don't be silent.
The dash, don't be silent.
Right. And then, so we've got a TikTok page that's paranormal_-spirits.
That's the part that's funny, is all the underscores.
Well, you got to put something in there. I mean, I guess. I could have left the underscores out, I guess. But so we don't even talk about Twitter because it's MW-1966.
Still haven't figured that one out, have you?
No, I don't think you can. I think once you've done it, you can't do it. I would have to create a new Twitter account or
You
something.
can pay Elon to be verified.
Yeah, I don't want to do that either. I don't figure there's any reason to do that. Okay, so everything's pretty much of some sort or another. It's going to be paranormal-spirits, except for YouTube. And YouTube is 3B Paranormal Spirits.
No dash.
No dash.
No underscores.
So if you're listening to this podcast, do me a favor. At some point in time when you go on YouTube and you just get bored and want to listen to something really cool, go to our website. We got all kinds of shorts of the funny stuff that we do on here. We got actual footage, or I guess pictures and stuff of ghosts. We got footage of paranormal investigations conducted by one of us. We've got our actual podcast on the YouTube channel. There's a podcast platform on YouTube now. And when you go there, make sure that you like and subscribe. So, because that is so important for us.
We got a lot of unique viewers that are not hitting that subscribe button.
And that's true, because I was looking, we had like, just this month, we've had almost 1,200 views. And we've gained, I think, 11 subscribers this month.
If
So
everyone who viewed that hit that subscribe button,
I'll do.
you'd be doing us a big favor.
Oh, yeah.
It won't cost you anything.
We
Just
won't
click.
We won't spam you, I promise. So if you go to another way to help us out is if you go to our website at paranormal-spirits.com, you can go there, and there's a link to our shop. that we have, our Shopify shop, that's got all of our swag and it's called Boozy's Boutique. And you can pick up these cool caps and beanies, racerback tees, the sexy ones for the girls to wear, regular t-shirts for guys to wear.
Or guys can wear the racerback.
I guess you could wear the racer. I'm not going to wear the racerback. Would you wear, John?
No,
I don't think we're made for racerbacks.
only if I was a
You would be. That's an accurate statement.
We're not built for racerbacks.
Love y'all. Not built for that.
Yeah, we got cool water bottles and cups and all kinds of good stuff there. So go check us out. And with every podcast that we do, we start off with a drink of the night. And so tonight, John, I always give John the honor. What are we drinking tonight?
This is Bushmill's.
Bushmill.
Bushmill's Protestant Irish whiskey. I was making
Eringo Bra.
Jameson is the Catholic whiskey. Bushmill's is the Protestant. This is a special one, though. This is the Prohibition blend. Mm-hmm. By order of the Shelby Company. What? And it's signed by Thomas Shelby.
Love me some Peaky Blinders.
As in the Peaky Fudging Blinders.
He's so good looking.
Alyssa
Thomas Shelby proprietor, aged in bourbon cask, and this is non-chill filtered, 92 proof.
I'm going to tell you, Alyssa has such a huge crush on Killian
Murphy.
Huge crush on him. Oh, I love
this
that
one
sound.
has a cork, unlike regular Bushmills. Not that makes any difference, but it is kind of, and it's a cool bottle too.
It really is a cool bottle. Yeah. It's kind of that old style blue,
like medicine.
Yeah, the old
medicinal type
it's
bottle.
Very old school. It looks like Prohibition, like it came out of the Prohibition or something.
Love
I
it.
love the back of it. Did you read the quote on the back, John? Read that quote.
Is it different for every bottle, or is it the same?
Nah,
No, it's the same quote.
Whiskey's good proofing water. Tells you who's real and who isn't. Thomas Shelby.
Hey,
Tommy Shelby.
Tommy Shelby.
It's a fictional character, but anyway.
So good.
But I've had,
I can't even
We've had this.
pretend that I've not had this before.
This is so far above regular old Bushmill.
Oh my God.
I was gonna say, isn't it different?
It's way
Like
different.
night and day.
Well, regular is 80 proof, and regular, I don't think this has any grain alcohol in it. I think this is all barley, but it sure tastes different. I mean, big difference for that extra $5.
But it's very limited.
Yeah,
It is Shelby Company Limited.
It used to be pretty easy to find, and now it's getting harder to find. And but it's not expensive.
$31.
What's the price point, babe?
The price point on that
31.
is it 31?
It's the same as bottle Jameson's. Yeah,
I didn't realize it was that cheap.
yeah.
Something
And
like that.
bottle of regular Bushmill is about 25. So
We need to get Moss
Yeah, they're
because they are running. He said they were running out.
last time we were at the store. Well, last time you and I went, I think there was only about 1 or 2 rows left of that. So they're getting scarce.
I don't know if people don't know about it.
I don't know. I'm
And that's
glad that
the
they
same
don't.
cases that have been there for
Well,
like
that'll
the last.
Yeah, I'm glad they don't in a way
I
because
stumbled across this just perusing the liquor store, and I was like, "Oh, look at this! That's kind of neat. I'm gonna grab a bottle of this." And then I told him about it. and he
everybody
got
loves
one,
Peaky
and
Blinders, right?
then, I was blown away by it. I was like, "That's amazing."
It
Right.
is so good.
Let's do it.
Slancha.
Cilantro.
Cha.
That's so much smoother than regular Bushmills is a shooter. I mean,
That is really good.
that is good.
That's really good.
It's very bourbony flavor. You can taste that bourbon cask.
It's a little spicy on the way down, but not to the point where you can't.
No, it's not a bearable at all.
It's only 92 proof. That's
92, 93, something
Your
like that.
only
92.
though is my he. So let's just clarify that for a minute.
that higher proof point makes it good. That adds a lot to it.
It's really funny. I found that the higher proof point on these whiskeys,
More flavor.
there's more flavor. I mean, you get a little more burn with it typically, In my opinion, you get a little more burn with your higher proofs because it's got more bite to it, I guess. But the flavor profile increases so with the higher proofs.
That doesn't taste any spicier to me than the 80 proof, but
No?
boy, it's more full bodied.
Oh yeah.
Flavor.
Well, it's a difference
time.
between like Jameson and Jameson Black Barrel. Those are night and day. I mean, and the difference is that I'm sure the what do you call it, the something bill, the rye bill, mash bill is different for them, but
I don't think they are. I think it's just
the
the
same.
barrel.
It's just the barreling. Because they put that the black barrel in the charred barrels, and man,
The
it
regular
makes
stuff
all
is
the
not
difference in
done
the
charred
world.
barrels.
It's so much more full bodied, lots more flavors. And so, what do you get from this, John?
Oh, you're gonna ask me to come up with like caramel richness and
I taste hints of vanilla and
Banana.
banana and
I had no banana.
platypus tears and
It's kind of got that shortbread cookiness to it. A little bit of bourbon.
I don't know about that shortbreadness.
It does. It's
You
got
and
a
your
little,
shortbreads.
little vanilla.
Vanilla, I feel like is like always there.
It's a pretty-
on
It's kind of
all
a catch-all,
these. I
yeah.
really feel like
um,
tasting notes, bourbon barrel aged, is all it says.
Yeah, it tastes
Higher alcohol, barrel proof.
It tastes quite a bit like bourbon.
it
actually.
does.
It does.
It tastes a lot like bourbon, but
There's a recipe for the Shelby Sour.
I would not mix this. I'm sorry. I enjoy it too much.
2
Straight.
parts Bushmills, 3/4 part orange liqueur, half part lemon juice, 1/4
Nope.
part
Yeah.
simple syrup, and an orange peel.
Nope.
There are plenty of cheap.
That sounds a lot like an old fashioned.
What's
There's
minus the
plenty of
bitters.
cheap, just average run of the mill whiskeys out there that I can use to make a sour with. I would not waste that on.
non-chill filtered.
Yeah, I would.
I don't think
wouldn't
I've
waste
ever
it.
had a sour.
Oh, I like whiskey sours. I do.
Yeah,
What's the sour part?
sweet and sour.
It's basically
Oh,
sweet and sour and grenadine.
It's kind of like, well, it's not margarita.
That's a
it's sweet
simple
and
one,
sour.
but I mean, I'm sure you could get all wild and crazy.
I love
with
how
it.
this says intense, complex, and bold. The taste of prohibition. Okay, that's literally all it says about taste.
Well, hey,
And
they didn't waste money on.
bourbon barrel.
They couldn't afford to get all those fancy descriptions for it because
No,
they
because
spent
they
it-
had to pay the money to get Shelby's face on here, to get Killian's face, because it's not even his eyes. It's just his
It's got that
Peaky hat.
that peaky hat pulled
They
down
had
over
to-
his
Had
eyes.
to pay the BBC or Netflix some money for this.
But it is so good.
BBC, I guess. Actually, it's
Oh, is that a BBC show?
yeah.
I thought it was
Yeah,
Netflix.
actually, they get to see the new seasons first in England. On
Originally.
BBC.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow, I didn't know
Yeah.
that. I know I love the show.
But yeah, like the picture of him on the bottle is the same one they have online, like from the actual show. It's the
Oh yeah,
banner.
yeah, I know.
So,
I
yeah.
saw that.
I've been listening to the Calm app, and he has an episode on there where he's taking you on a train ride through Ireland. And it's so nice to listen to him through Ireland. And he came in last night and said, "What are you listening to?" I said, "My boyfriend." He's telling me about his trip on a train around Ireland.
Here it is, Peaky Blinders, 2019 to 2022, Karen Mandabach Productions Limited, licensed by Banjay Group. There it is. So there's some licensing fees involved, but aged for a minimum of 3 years, which I can guarantee you the $25 regular Bushmills is not.
If for nothing else, the
No,
bottle
it's
is
only like 3 years, 5 years.
Well, that says minimum of 3 in this.
I will say, it makes it cool because you have like a cool bottle to use afterwards if you like old bottles.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So we've talked about the BOOZE, and we've started our night off like we always do with our drink. So
Sorry, I'm trying to get situated.
Okay, get situated.
Okay, sorry.
And so John's going to take us on a trip over to Romania. Is it Romania?
Romania.
Romania.
Excuse me. See, the spirits have got a hold of me there.
The spirits. Which spirits would that be? The Bushmill spirits?
I think it's Dracula choking me out.
Was it? Okay. So John's going to talk about the BOOS tonight. So take it away, John.
Okay. Well, the Hoia Baciu Forest, the haunted Hoia Baciu Forest, it's located in Transylvania, which you may have heard of that.
Vampirina. Sorry.
Famous
Child.
region of Romania. It's just outside the town of Cluj Napoca, which from here on out we will only refer to as Cluj.
It sounds like a plan.
Is 720 acres. Now, this originally when I read about it, it was in hectares, but this is America, so we use acres. It's 729 acres of land. It's said to be one of the most haunted forests in the world, and often referred to as the Bermuda Triangle of Romania. There is no vampire lore in this, but it's
in
not
Transylvania. It needs to have vampire lore.
far.
Actually, it's in it's not Transylvania.
This
it's
is
not
in
far
Transylvania.
Oh, okay, it is.
Forest is in Transylvania, which is a region of Romania.
Geography.
Jay, science.
The forest has an eerie appearance because the trees, they don't grow straight. They grow crooked and bent, stooped. Stooped over,
Crooked.
and creepy looking, yeah. In the center of the forest is a clearing where only grass grows, known as the Poiana Rotunda. It's a popular spot for witches and occultists to go and hold ceremonies, still to this day.
I'll throw a picture up. I actually went and looked when you told me about this place. So
It's weird.
it is weird.
It's an almost perfect circle where none of the trees will grow.
Yeah.
And no one knows why. I'll get to that a little bit. They've actually done some testing. The forest includes the earliest known Neolithic settlement they've ever unearthed in Romania. Its part was from the Starevo-Koros Chris culture. Tombs and houses that were all discovered in between 1960 and 1994 and date to about 6500 BC. So that's old.
Yeah, it's way
So
old.
this was populated a long time ago.
So, again, I looked some of this up when you told me what you were doing. So I saw these pottery pieces that they had, or I guess it's pottery, if you would call it that, and they all look like
Words?
Pottery.
phallic.
Oh,
Phallic.
Not what I was
didn't want to say it.
expecting.
I didn't want to
Okay.
say it, but I did.
okay.
What kind of rituals do you reckon those were used for?
I would assume that it would have been some type of fertility ritual.
Yeah. Well, these would have been. These people would have been of the old religion, the old religion. You know,
Yeah, some of these trees
The
are
OG.
wicked. Look at
Yeah, they're crazy. I'm gonna throw up some pictures of them when we.
these bent ones that are like
Yeah, and
J's.
yeah, there's no straight trees in this forest at all.
no, it's really creepy looking.
Yeah, it's up. Apparently, during the Middle Ages, there were hundreds of peasants were taken to this forest and were slaughtered.
At one time, or over
That is
stretched out. Or it doesn't
I
say.
think at one time, and it's not known if this was some sort of brutal or early form of population control, or if
God.
this was some sort of religious situation, or what the deal is. But that activity has left an imprint on the forest, and it says those stooped trees house the spirits of those murdered peasants, and that sometimes you'll see green eyes like looking at you through the mist. That's supposed to be the spirits of these murdered people, and the ghosts of the peasants are often blamed for the disappearances that happened.
Are there lots of disappearances there? I know
There are a lot of
when you
disappearances,
alluded that it's like
apparently.
the Bermuda Triangle of Transylvania, that you would think that there'd be
Romania.
disappearances
Well,
there
there
as
are
well.
a few stories, yeah. There are some pretty famous legends. There's one about a young girl who entered the forest, was not seen again until she reappeared 5 years later, unaged, like the same age as when she went into the forest, with no recollection of what had happened to her over the past 5 years.
Really?
This sounds like a Netflix series.
Did she like show up out of the forest, or she like just showed up at her house?
Reappeared out of the forest, and she had no recollection of what had happened to her during the 5 years she's been gone, and she had not aged, did not appear to have aged.
That's interesting.
I've heard kind of stories about like that with kids disappearing in national parks here, showing up, days later, perfectly healthy, clean fed, and not knowing.
Are you talking like some of the 411 stuff?
Yeah.
There's actually an upcoming podcast that I'm working on the research right now for some of the 411 stuff and the disappearing
and reappearing
kids. Yeah, it's a trip.
It's pretty trippy. There's another story that the locals tell about a shepherd who went into the forest with 200 sheep, a 200 strong flock. Never seen again. No remains of sheep. Nothing ever found. Everything went into the forest and vanished forever.
So no sheep turned up unaged 5 years later?
No.
Okay.
No sheep
with
bones.
With a lot of wool. Because hadn't been
No, he's
shared.
unaged. He's the same.
No sheep bones, no nothing. There's also some UFO sightings, so it's pretty famous stuff. There was it became famous in 1968 when a military technician named Emil Barnia, he was out in the forest with his girlfriend and a few friends on a sunny August afternoon, and his girlfriend told him she saw something weird. So he walked to see where she was standing. He saw it too, a shining silver disc in the sky. He had his camera with him, and he started taking pictures. Before the object bolted away, he was able to capture 4 photos. The 4 of them only saw the UFO for about 2 minutes, but Barnia had then developed his film, and his pictures live on. You can see them today. I think you've already seen some.
Yeah, I did.
We'll post up here. His photos were published in the local papers. And many people were very skeptical. Some said it was weather balloons shot in odd lighting. You know the usual stuff, especially in 1968, behind the Iron Curtain.
Right.
Investigators looked into the weather balloons, blimps, anything else that might have been in the sky at the time. There was nothing in the area that day. There was nothing that could be found to explain the photos, and the negatives were examined to see if he had altered the images, but there's no evidence of tampering, nothing.
Yeah, that's what I read as well, that they had checked the negatives themselves to see if they had been doctored, because I mean you could do that, but they said that they hadn't been doctored that they could find.
But who knows now? It might have been us.
Well, yeah.
Might have been our reverse engineered stuff flying over there, considering these would have been our commie enemies in 1968.
Maybe it's the alien satanic Nazis or something.
It very well could be. or Nazis from the moon.
Yeah.
But they're pretty interesting. I've seen it. I was like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I saw it. It looks legit.
And there have been other reports since then, so it's not uncommon for people to see these things. Many people who just walk into the forest, for a quick scare,
right,
or for a tour, because there are tours and stuff you get to take.
I was going to say, can you go in there?
Oh, yeah.
It's not like the one was at Japan where it's like people go in there and commit suicide and never come back.
No. Kluge has its own little cottage industry of forest tours and stuff. Yeah, people claim as soon as they walk in, they suffer severe anxiety and feel someone's watching them. Others walk out scratched or bruised, having no idea where those scratches came from. Ghosts and other paranormal activity are spotted here all the time. Sometimes people hear voices in the forest, giggling or screams of young girls. Ghostly shadow figures appear in digital photographs. This is fairly recently. There have been some photographs taken where they didn't notice it at the time, and there's shadow figures in the photos. So, yeah. So a lot of weird stuff goes on there. People have heard the sounds of deer or horse hooves, some sort of animal hooves, even when there's none to be seen. Orbs are very common. Lighted orbs floating through the trees, or people will take photos. When they look at the photos, faces or orbs that they had not seen in person appear in the photographs. Occasionally, people see faces right in front of their faces.
Oh, wow. So
with their naked eye, like, oh crap, there's a face right in front of me.
So I was going to ask with the orbs, is that a naked eye thing?
Mm-hmm.
Orb? Because that's pretty wild. That's like ball
naked
lightning or
orbs.
something.
Really? I'm not familiar with naked eye orbs.
And not just like orbs like you see in photographs that are sitting still. We're talking about orbs of light moving through the trees.
Mm-hmm.
As if they're aware of you, Sometimes people see glowing green eyes, just like we mentioned earlier, staring at them from the distance. It's pretty interesting stuff. So, of course, any place like this, that our boy.
Oh, Zach.
All hell to Zach.
Look, real seriousness, we make fun, but it's just because we make fun people we like, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And
I've seen every episode of Ghost Adventures.
Down to the episode numbers. Like, you
here's
still
the deal.
freak me out with that.
I talk smack about that, but the dude caught a flying brick, and it hasn't been disproved. Or it's been proven to be true that there was a flying brick.
Yeah.
I mean,
he can
nobody
be
else
a flying
has done
brick sometimes, but
that. But he caught a flying brick.
Got a flying brick. He did that. He's
Ain't
got
nobody else
many
stopped him.
other things as well.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
Did he go here and camp or something?
no camping.
No.
But they did go here during their 2013 Halloween special.
Did they take a stroll?
In where they went to Transylvania, and part of they investigated some Dracula locations, and they also went here. Zach was, of course, affected by an unseen force. He had what he described as a panic attack, or as I like to call it, a Zach attack.
His name lends perfectly
did you come up with that on your own?
His name seriously lends perfectly.
But more
because that is a perfect description of what he has.
Much more impressive than the Zach attack was because that's subjective. It's like, I'm being affected.
I'm so angry. I feel it trying to get in. And yeah, okay.
But when they were driving the ATV back, they spotted a light in the trees, right? A red light. They stopped. They caught it. They got it on camera. And you can clearly see a red floating orb. You can see the reflection behind it on trees and in front of it. So it's not someone holding up a red light. It is.
So it's producing its own light.
It is generating its own light, and it's shifting between red, orange, and yellow. And
That's
back.
pretty impressive, actually.
And it's probably about 6 feet off the ground, moving through the trees, and it's a very clear video of it. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But not near as impressive as when Josh Gates and his Destination Truth team investigated this.
I was trying to remember the name of that.
This was in 2009. This was before Zach made it there. And it's first episode of season 3, Destination Truth, if you want to watch. First they took soil samples. Remember the circle where nothing will grow? They took soil samples from within the circle and soil samples from outside the circle where trees do grow. Crooked, but they grow.
You're right.
When they came back, they did take this to a lab in California. They had, by a university lab, had it analyzed. No difference between the soil. So that just adds to the mystery of why nothing grows in that circle, because the soil is exactly the same.
And it's pretty, it's a circle.
It's almost spherical.
Yeah,
it's
like a circle.
It's like a circle.
That's so strange because when you say nothing grows,
grass grows. There's grass.
I was going to say the pictures that I saw, I see grass.
Yeah, there's grass, but there's no trees.
No trees.
No.
like somebody literally hollowed it out.
Yeah, it's looks like just an almost perfect circle.
Yeah, I know.
And throughout the rest of the forest, it's very thick with these crooked trees over it. I don't know what kind those are. By the way, I didn't bother to look up what kind of native fauna or flora.
I know that you can, from talking to different people, that you can sterilize soil.
Soil.
But wouldn't that change the mineral content of the soil?
I'm not sure, but I do know that once you sterilize it, nothing grows.
Salty earth.
Well, but you wouldn't be able to grow grass then. You know, you wouldn't even be able to grow that.
But I have seen, meadows and stuff in other forests where the trees just stop and grass grows. But there's no flowers growing in this, no nothing, just grass, just old grass.
I'm looking to see if there's any trees. If it tells me what kind of trees there are.
Whatever they are, I don't want them creepy haunted house looking trees growing in my yard.
Creepy haunted house looking trees.
They look exactly like you would see in front of
Hansel and Gretel.
Yeah.
The Hansel and Gretel house.
And the trees look like they're just going to reach out and grab it.
It is spooky. It really is.
It's a very eerie place.
And I was in the pictures that I saw of the trees. There would be these bends, just oddly shaped, all of a sudden crook in the
It's
tree.
like they just went up and said, "Oh, not this way.
Yeah.
No, I'm going back this way now."
Right. But if you would, so if there had been a cataclysmic event that caused the trees to be damaged, and then they grew that way, you would expect like that bend, that weird bend, would be in all the trees at that same height. But it's like this. I mean, there's
They call that the clearing.
the clearing.
The clearing of the forest is what they say.
It looks like one of the forests, what is it, Mirkwood or whatever, in Lord of the Rings with the giant spiders and stuff. It's scary haunted forest you're not supposed to go through.
Not to take away from your story, but it was named for the shepherd that never came back.
Really? Oh, that was
That's his name.
Hoia Baciu.
Oh wow.
I did not
There was
know
a
that.
shepherd named Hoia Baciu who went after his sheep deep into the forest. Once he was swallowed up by the trees in the mist, he never came back. Neither did the sheep. Their bodies were never found. That's the earliest story on the forest and how it got its name.
Interesting. Did not know that part. I had no idea what Hoia Baciu meant in Romania. It might have meant
What's the name?
creepy haunted forest in Romania for all I know.
Missing shepherd. Or shepherd man. I don't know.
So
It still doesn't tell me what kind of trees they are, though. I don't know. It doesn't say
creepy, crooked ass haunted house looking trees.
Hansel Gretel trees.
So Gates and his team, they also caught a very clear video and still photos of orbs of light floating among the trees.
Just like
Zach. They also have one still photograph with a shadowy black mass that appeared in it. That's not in, they took a sequence of photos and that was there in one photo, not in the others before or after it.
Right.
They did EVP sessions sitting in the clearing. They got moans and giggles in female voices. Which backed up the claims of his crew members who also reported hearing these with their naked ears as well.
Yeah.
But the most shocking and impressive thing, and it's one of the craziest things I've ever seen. And Josh Gates, he's not known for, he doesn't say, could it be a demon? He's very, most of the time
he's
he says,
pretty level-headed.
He's pretty level-headed, and he says, oh, I think people are mistaking this monkey for, that's... But one of their cameramen, named Evan, had taken the place to do the EVP session in the clearing, and he was sitting there asking questions, and he was getting the giggles and stuff that went back listening to his EVP. But all of a sudden, they've got a static camera on him, a night vision camera.
Mm-hmm.
His arm jerks back like this, and then boom, like a blur, he's gone.
No.
Backwards, gone. It looks like something grabbed him by his right arm and yanked him up off the ground. I mean, you can barely see it because he's being yanked so fast that it's a blur, but you see his arm go like this, and he's gone, and then out of frame. And everybody goes, and he screams, everybody goes running, and they find him about 20 feet behind find where he was, laying on his back, moaning in pain. He was literally lifted off the ground and thrown by an invisible, unseen force. And they caught it on camera, high def camera.
This is as he was sitting in the clearing.
As he was sitting in the clearing. When they got his jacket stuff off, he had 3 claw marks on his arm. That did not damage his clothes at all. But it was as if he had been lifted and thrown by something that left marks on him.
And this is on what show? This is a show?
Destination Truth.
Oh, okay.
You have Discovery Plus that you can, or you can go on there and watch it. And yeah, it's crazy. I remember seeing it when it originally happened, and watching it when it first aired. Like, what the hell? And I just recently went back and rewatched it, preparing this, and I was just like, that's unbelievable.
The only time I've ever seen anything like that, I didn't see the one with Destination Truth, but I saw an episode of Taps where the cameraman is walking behind like Jason or what's his name?
Grant.
Grant, thank you. And he's walking behind him, and all of a sudden you see him just kind of, he just goes up, and you can see his bag came up before he went back. It's like something
picked
grabbed
him up and grabbed him.
It threw him backwards.
That's the way this is too.
But he didn't fly 20 feet backwards like that. But God,
Evan had a camera, GoPro pointed to himself, and there's like a little bit, and then it's gone. Like it flew off. The pack flew off. Like you catch it as it's happening, his face. And that's about all they got on that.
Wow.
But the static camera pointed at him, caught the whole thing.
But it didn't see like a figure or...
No, there's nothing there. And there's no way that... I don't care how agile you are, you can't jump backwards like a cat that fast. There's no way a human who's sitting crisscross applesauce is coming on unless they are pulled by...
I cannot believe you just said that.
Sorry, I can't say the other word.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
you can't call
but it's
it
just so strange when...
It is strange. It is, especially for me. I'm old, so...
Oh, he's just gone.
And it shows it on the show.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to have to watch that.
Yeah. You can just go on your Discovery Plus. Go Destination Truth Season 3, Episode 1.
We don't usually put videos and stuff in. I don't guess I have put any videos.
I'm sure there are some stills from that, but
within our videos. So
it's a famous piece of footage.
I'll look into that because I'd like to be able to share that. And I don't know, how does the copyright thing work on that? Can I do that?
I don't know.
Actually, it falls under fair use if I'm describing it and editorializing it.
Right, and it is not a market substitute. Please go to Prime Video, get your Discovery Plus subscription if you don't already have that, and
there's some good shows on there. Watch the
entire episode because it's actually pretty fascinating. So then the medic treats him. Mm-hmm. Then the medic, Rex, the medic, becomes violently nauseous and ill and is throwing up after he treats Evan after he's been yanked by this thing. And at that point, Josh says, "We're out of here. Pack everything up. We're getting the hell out of here. This is enough. We are risking the safety of the crew at this point. This is crazy." So when they get back to the U.S., Josh takes all his footage and the EVPs and everything and goes and visits Jason and Grant from Taps.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and they review everything, and they agree, like, that's something, an unseen force picked him up and moved him. And there's something paranormal going on there.
Okay, so for me, Jason and Grant are the gold standard.
Right, and they agreed.
If they say it's haunted, it's haunted.
The pieces they kind of, the EVPs, your outdoors uncontrolled environment, can't 100% put a stamp on that. Orbs, they always throw out.
Orbs, yeah, I know.
But you can't mess with that piece of video.
Well, I mean, and a man is sitting right in front of you that had it happen to him, like.
Well, no, I mean, Evan wasn't there when.
Well,
Jason and
I
Grant,
mean, they were there. I mean.
I just don't know how they would fake that, and I don't believe Josh Gates would ever fake evidence anyway.
Yeah.
He's pretty...
he seems like a stand-up kind of guy.
He has a pretty impeccable reputation. He also found a Yeti footprint, like real ones.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah, I just
most of the time it's something. It turns out, he has a scientific explanation, but this, and then the Yeti stuff.
and that's one reason like I say, Jason and Grant are the kind of gold standard for me because, man, nothing is haunted for these guys. I mean, very seldom do they ever go, "Oh yeah, that's haunted," So when they say it's haunted, then
But the video of Evan getting picked up and thrown, that's the clincher.
yeah, that's
That's
pretty
the
cool.
clincher. So, if you would like to go, if you have a passport,
And I do.
I do not. I haven't been outside the United States since
Come on, bro.
2002. So
You should really get on that
Since they
because if we're gonna go to
required
Ireland and see some things,
I know. Last time I was outside the country, and you could still go to the Caribbean and Mexico and Canada without a passport.
oh yeah,
Yeah, you can't do that now. That's been a long time.
I haven't
for a
been
while
outside
you could
the
use a
country in a long
card,
time.
but then you can't
Do
use a
what?
card now. You have to have an actual passport.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah, I used to have the little birth, like for the cruise.
Yeah,
we had
the little-
the birth certificate cards. Yeah.
Pass card.
What is it called? A passport card.
Called a pass card.
Pass card.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
And
I
it was
never-
actually a passport, but it was in the form of a card. But you couldn't get on a plane with it and fly outside the country. You could only drive or
Cruise.
God, I hope you can drive around the country without papers. I mean,
Do it.
oh, you mean
No, no,
drive
no.
outside
Like
the country?
like
You could
Canada.
go to Mexico or
I couldn't
Or
go to El
Canada.
Paso and cross over, or I couldn't go to Canada and cross over.
Which when I lived up north, you could go. We went to Canada all the time
Yeah, but
in the early 2000s.
God, that was. I had my pass card like
Yeah, when you went on that cruise, and that was in 2010.
something like that.
I'll have to get one.
You should
Been meaning to get one, but
take a little trip, stop off in Transylvania.
in Transylvania,
So-
you could go to Cluj. It's a very tourist-friendly city. There's lots of lodging, dining. It's the whole area has a big kind of it's Transylvania.
Yeah.
Are there vampires? Can I see some? Vampirina?
I don't. You're gonna see a lot of Dracula stuff,
I'm sure. Are there any bats in the forest?
probably.
Probably. Yeah.
I would imagine so.
It said the locals don't go there.
Yeah, I said so. They stopped and said, what would you, stop asking the people who live on the village on the outskirts of it, the little village, what would you recommend from going into the forest? And then he said, I do know. And then translate, don't go, he says.
Yeah. People who
So-
live near the forest
Don't go.
refuse to set foot in it, is what it says.
Wow.
So it's only visitors that go in there or tour guides. And there is a cottage industry of haunted forest touring there in Cluj. It's a 20-minute taxi ride from the center of town to the edge of the forest. If you want to go on your own, you're welcome to take a cab from your hotel. They'll drop you off the edge of the forest, and there are clearly marked trails.
So I'm guessing they won't drive up into it because they're.
Well, there's no roads.
Oh, there's no roads to it in there.
There's
Just
foot
trails.
trails, right? You
Oh,
can
okay.
you can rent an ATV,
Bikes. I
bicycle.
guess.
There are bicycle trails for hiking and biking, clearly marked. And if you're adventurous enough to go without a guide, feel free. You can also rent ATVs.
Now, when you say go without a guide, I assume these guides aren't locals.
No, well, they're locals.
No, I mean, so they grew up there.
They
They know about
probably
it.
are from Cluj, though, not from that tiny little village
Ah, I
where the
got
guy
you.
said, "Don't go."
Right.
But if you like a guided tour, you can. They have daytime and nighttime guided tours.
No.
Oh, you can go at night.
You can go at night.
No.
Oh
You
yeah,
can go at night,
You
babe.
can go by
No.
yourself at night.
No.
You don't have.
It's
No.
Romania. It's not like everything's highly regulated.
Babe,
You can go in there by yourself
night?
at night without a guide.
let's go.
Have you seen the pictures of the mist?
No. I
Like-
saw the movie The Mist. Is that what you're talking about?
The stuff that happens in there is probably happening in here too. Like, so
It's
like
pretty
creatures
spooky.
of the mist or something like that.
Yeah,
Like,
it's pretty spooky
They
looking.
say that they has like mist and it fluctuates on how thick it is throughout the day.
Well, yeah.
No.
I don't think I would go. I definitely would not go alone at night.
And I'm not going in the clearing with like homie did.
Of course,
like,
I'm not going in any forest alone
Yeah. So
at night.
when he got pulled and thrown around and that were they in the clearing or
They were
were
in
they?
the
He was in the
Oh,
clearing.
they're in
They're
the
in the
clearing.
clearing.
Was it at night?
Oh yeah, was it night? Yeah,
mean,
they
I guess
had
that's
a
when they
night
go.
vision camera. Yeah, And when Zach caught the orb and stuff, that was not in the clearing. That was on the ATV ride back. So that was just in the forest off one of the trails. I think Billy was with him, and Billy spotted it first. And then
Yeah. So here's what I think.
Because
I think
Aaron, and Jay were off investigating Dracula's castle. But
I think
Yeah, that's
that I think that circle that's there. What did you call it?
The clearing.
But
The clearing,
that's probably easier than the name in Romania.
Yeah. So in the clearing, I think that they probably performed some kind of rituals back in the day, and maybe stirred some stuff up.
Probably
and
where they killed all those people.
that's what I'm thinking.
And it just cursed it.
There's some rumors that UFOs use it for landing.
Yeah, but they found no
And
evidence
launching.
of. They tested it for radioactivity, and they found no evidence of radioactivity in the soil there. Not that that means anything, but
I was gonna say, I mean, maybe they have some other more.
They also have no
Another
evidence for
form
why
of
something doesn't
propulsion.
grow there, but it sure as heck doesn't.
It's really strange.
I think, I mean, you're in an ancient mystical land.
They say it's a portal.
Who the hell knows?
That some say it's a portal to another universe.
Could be.
Or
Somewhere there is that alternate dimension full of shepherds and 5-year-old girls.
sheep.
And sheep and
sheep everywhere.
That's what I'm assuming that's
I'm
what they're
sure.
saying about this girl.
Mutton every night.
You know, you were talking about a while ago how the locals won't go into the forest, the ones that live in that little village right there. And it reminded me of the conversation we had with a gentleman here not long ago. And he was talking about Australia. And he said, you can always tell, he said, when the tourists come to Australia, he said, you can always tell, he called them Yanks, didn't he? The Yanks, the Americans.
No, he just called them Americans.
He said, with the Americans, he said, you could always tell them.
Americans.
Yeah. When he said, because they would get eaten by sharks. Because they're there for the surfing and the swimming and the scuba diving and all
Not
that,
this
right?
American. I
So,
ain't getting in that water.
But
I
the
know what's in there.
Brits would always were always being eaten by crocodiles because they came there for the
bush.
bush, to go out in the wilderness.
So they always know what.
And not
Yeah,
they're-
they
bush beer.
came for the bush.
yeah, they
Don't do it, John. Don't. Just don't.
They always knew the nationality
Yeah.
based on what ate them.
And this guy,
Who got always killed by the snakes then?
I think
Or
everybody
the
there.
deadly spiders?
Jeez.
Or the box jellyfish? Or the everything else
Oh,
trying to kill you?
That's every unlucky individual, or the octopus that are there too.
Yeah, so we were talking to him, and he has agreed to come on the show with us, a podcast. And he has seen multiple.
He's had experience with these free-floating orbs, these intelligent orbs, right?
Yes.
Maybe not the Romanian version, but the Australian
Yes,
one.
that too. So
I don't know
So
that they're
what
different.
was your link to that
other than
with the
their accent.
forest? Like how these other men are.
well, because if you're in Australia, you're not going to go swim where the sharks are, and you're not going to go mess around with the crocodiles because you don't want to get eaten by crocs either.
Right, but the tourists do. So
But
you're
the
saying.
tourists do. So just like in this forest, the tourists go into the forest,
And the locals are like,
don't.
heck no.
Nope.
Don't go.
A lot of people go in here, but would I go at night? Not alone? Hell no, probably not at all.
I won't go to
I'll go in the daytime,
a wooden area around here in the dark.
but I'm not going to Transylvania by myself anyway.
I'm not going to Transylvania anywhere in the dark.
Oh, that's the only time to go to Dracula's castle, or one of Dracula's castles. or
Maybe
multiple
with a
castles.
torch. But I mean, I'm not going like in the dark
Don't forget your pitchfork.
with
babe.
like, even, well, I don't mean a torch like, we're going to kill the beast. But I mean like light. Like I'm not going there with like night vision goggles and my EVP and like sitting there in the clearing.
What
Heck
I really
no.
wanted to do is go in with a thermal.
into the forest,
Yeah, sit in the middle of the clearing.
and you would go missing for 5 years and come back, and you wouldn't have.
Or
aged.
I'd just get yanked and thrown.
Yeah.
Or I'd have a Zack attack. That happened near the
Only-
clearing.
Only
Insect flying around here.
only Zach can have a Zach attack. We're not worthy.
But It is all the. By the way, this is also all close. So if you're into Vlad Tepes, Vlad the Impaler, this is all in the same region, so you can hit all those sites in one fabulous.
I don't think Romania is that big.
Transylvanian.
Oh, nice. Transylvanian. I see what you did there.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to see these old castles and stuff.
Too.
They have some, and apparently they have some like really. Oh, it is a big country. They have a lot of haunted places.
Oh yeah. They also had one of those weird monoliths appear recently there.
I saw that.
Like the one that appeared, I forget where it was here. There was one out in the desert, Utah or somewhere.
Utah, Wyoming.
One just like it showed up in Romania and Transylvania.
For real?
Yeah.
It's just a piece of art, right?
I guess, yeah.
Because that's what they figured out. The one in Utah.
One just like it showed up in Romania as well.
Yeah, the obelisk. I forget what it was, but
it's an odd. You've got that whole.
You got the whole Romney
vampire thing. You've got werewolves. You got
the Romney.
Mitt Romney.
I did not say that.
Sorry.
I don't want to say that because that might be offensive to someone.
Oh, Roma people.
Yes.
Like in Peaky Blinders.
Yeah. Yes. Like
they were Romanian, weren't they?
They were.
Hey, look at that. Full circle.
Good job, babe. Way to bring us back in.
Also, did you know the language is actually Latin based?
Is it?
Yeah.
Have you listened to it?
It's a romance language, just like Spanish, French, Latin, Portuguese.
It's super hard to understand. I've just watched the gymnasts because Romania's big. Romania has a lot of gymnasts in the Olympics, so when they speak to each other.
Oh, I know. We watched that. John and I. We never.
I'm sorry.
Romanian gymnasts.
I like gymnasts. I just like gymnasts.
No, I wasn't being.
I know.
Silly. I was.
Nadia Comaneci.
Yeah.
But who was the coach? The guy with the mustache and the cigarettes? I can't remember his name. I heard somebody say you spoke like a Russian gymnast coach, or not like a Romanian.
I've never heard that.
Gymnast coach.
You talking about Bello Caroli?
Yes, thank you.
He was for the U.S. when we won the gold with Carrie Strug when she jumped on the vault and broke her ankle. But I never thought about visiting Transylvania, but this would be a great trip. Like they have so many cool things, castles.
There's a lot to do there. Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of the Dracula stuff is kind of hyped. Is kind of ridiculous.
I just want to go see some of these, but they have like the Carpathian Mountains or somewhere right there.
Carpathian.
I mean, they've got all kinds of stuff. What a great trip that would be.
Yeah. That really would.
You could also.
I'm not kidding.
Okay.
It also borders Hungary, so you could go and see the twin cities of Buda and Pest.
Bucharest?
No, Budapest in Hungary.
Oh, Budapest.
Yeah, on the Danube. Beautiful city. Yeah,
it'd
be a nice
Bucharest.
Trip. Bucharest is the capital of Romania.
Yes, it is. So there's a lot of things you could see.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind. You
should
get a passport.
Put that on the bucket list. All right. We talked about the Romanians and the and Tommy Shelby's association with him from the Shelby Company Limited and Bushmill's Prohibition Irish whiskey.
I wonder what the
by order of Shelby Company Limited.
If there is a distilled liquor that's native to Romania.
I don't know.
I'm sure there is, but
I don't know.
They don't sell it at Fat Dogs and Troop.
And we talked about Hoia Baciu. Is that right?
Hoia Baciu Forest, yeah.
Hoia Baciu Forest.
Transylvania, baby.
Romanian moonshine is the country's national drink. It's called
moonshine.
Tuica. I don't know how to say it, but it's Tuica with tildes and stuff.
Tuaca.
A clear and gut-warming, potent spirit distilled from plums, one of the country's most bountiful crops.
So Tuaca, I love Tuaca.
It's not Tuaca.
It's not?
No,
it's
baby.
Distilled plums.
Oh, what is it then?
It's not how you say it.
Oh, how do you say it?
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Then how do you know it's not Tuaca?
I don't, because that's not what that is.
Okay. So we've run this around the table, and
That sounds plumb delicious.
we all. I love that, John. So we run it around the table, and we all love Bushmill's Prohibition recipe.
Tuika.
Tuika?
Tuika.
Okay. Tuika. And Irish whiskey.
On the scale, on Boozy's scale, what would you give that?
A solid 4. Solid 4.
What did you give Tamdu
4.
or Brooklodic?
I
You
think
gave
it's a 4 or
Tamdu a
5.
4.
4 or 4 or 5. I don't remember.
It's 1 to
Something like-
5, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But they're,
Oh, I know. Hash marks in the
4.5.
middle. No, I understand that,
Okay.
yes.
What's
So
that,
you're saying
3.5.
3.5 for this one.
Oh, yeah. It's a definite buy.
It's a different buy.
It's a buy it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
What's your,
buy
is it what, 2.5 plus is a buy? Or 3 plus is a buy?
I don't know. Sometimes I'll buy some 2.
Yeah, you will.
Is that dependent upon a price point and where you're at?
I tell you what, at the price point, yeah,
Financially?
we could almost go. That's pretty good. That is.
Here's what I would say: if you see this in a store,
Grab one.
get one. It's cheap.
It's 30
And
bucks.
it's limited edition.
It's
Truly
a limited
is.
edition, and it is worth every
And
dime.
its counterpart, the original Bushmills, is not.
No, it's not.
It's not.
I mean, this is no. It's no Redbreast 12,
No,
but also it's less than half the price of a bottle of Redbreast 12. So
yeah, true that. All right. So go visit us in all the places. And when you go to YouTube, remember you want to visit 3B Paranormal Spirits. And what do you want to do when you get there? Push that subscribe button. Hit that subscribe.
Hammer that subscribe button like you're putting a stake through Dracula's heart.
There we are.
All right. Thank you. You have a good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, ears be sweating.
I sweat every time.
Or Vlad the Impaler. Impaling.
Oh, like you're driving an impaling stake up someone's anus.
Yes.
Because that's where I always do impaling things.
That's where
Yeah.
that's how you do it. They would lay the
Oh yeah, they
Now
actually
you'd have a
would. Yeah, you're
greased,
right.
sharpened pole. They'd start driving it up their anus until it got up in there, and then they'd put them up and let the gravity
Do the rest.
do the rest of the work. Yeah,
That's horrible.
slowly. Yeah, it's a pretty horrible way to die.
But I think
He's a national hero in Romania.
oh yeah, because he was,
He protected them against the Turks, turned away the Turks for a while at least.
his whole point was to
Prince of
to make-
Wallachia.
make the thought of coming there so horrible that they would turn around and go back.